I think people have a lot of taboo around this topic and talking about intimacy and sexuality, but it's something that everyone craves. And I'm finding that the world is just so hungry for this right now. And every time I get put through a hoop, everyone's surprised at the reaction. It's that people are thrilled, they're excited. It's always 2, 3, 4 times what was expected. And one of the biggest issues that we have is people feel so much shame and taboo around these very natural, sensual energy. I share my story because I know that it helps other people break through any shame that they have around their desires or their sexuality. And I grew up being taught, that was something that I had to be ashamed of. I grew up on a Christian commune that was a cult, and it was a log cabin with no electricity, no indoor plumbing. I grew up wearing a bonnet, like dresses to my ankle. And they used to tell us, as women, it was our job to cover our bodies because otherwise we would cause the men to sin. And so that was immediately this kind of like shaming of my own body, my own sensual energy, and feeling like, it would be my fault to be attractive, that it wasn't safe, to be sensual and to be in that energy. And growing up in that environment, I was sexually abused. And because of the taboo around sexuality that existed, there was nowhere to go to talk about it. And that was really, difficult. I internalized that and isolated myself. And after many years, I just got so much anger that built up, and I didn't know where to go. And I ended up running away from my religious school and going out on my own. And a lot of my 20s were just really painful, years of using drugs or sex or different ways to numb myself from that pain of the trauma. And I really think that because our whole society has this taboo around sex, it took me a lot longer to be able to find the answers. And that's one of the things I'm really committed to, is helping other people not feel that sense of shame or not feel that sense of isolation so that they can have a breakthrough, even sooner than me. And my breakthrough came when I was 29, and I ended up hitting rock bottom in an emergency room. And I just had a moment that I knew that from my trauma, I kept recreating these, self-destructive patterns. And something in me said, if you keep doing this, you're going to be dead. This is your last chance. And when I heard that, voice inside myself, I just knew I had to find new answers. And I also understood that I was playing the victim. I kept repeating and reenacting these patterns, waiting for, that place inside me that had been abandoned. That little girl that had been abandoned by my parents, and that point at which I'd had that trauma. And I really feel for me that was like, 5 years old, because I would just feel so often that my reactions would come from like this 5-year-old wounded little girl in my relationships. And I had that moment where this other voice inside me said, you have to stop putting yourself in these situations and repeating these negative patterns, and you have to save yourself. No one's going to come and save you from being abandoned. You have to save yourself. And that was a really powerful moment to me, and the moment I feel my whole life shifted. And then this other voice said, go do yoga. And at first I was like, go do yoga? What's yoga going to do to help me? I was literally, diagnosed with depression and anxiety at that point. I was taking medication and thought I would have to take medication every day of my life. That I had this sense of just feeling I was broken. And this voice said, no, go do yoga. That's going to be the thing that creates the bridge for you. So I walked out of that emergency room, and I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I had to go do yoga. And the next day, I went to yoga class, and when I was there in the class, I had this moment of transcendence and such a deep transformation, because I just did what the teacher said. I inhaled and raised my arms, and then I exhaled and bring my arms down, and I felt goodness. I felt my body filled with a rush of, bliss and a connection to source and something greater than myself. And it felt really ecstatic and orgasmic. and I also found no one really had a language for that feeling. And I asked the yoga teacher about it, and I felt they kind of looked at me like, that's weird, because it was the same, I think, taboo around sexuality. But I knew I had to find out what this natural energy was that felt so amazing, that felt so blissful, so ecstatic, and so orgasmic. So I started studying and reading, and I heard about Tantra. And I knew that was this like deeper piece of what I was searching for. I followed that all the way to India to meet a teacher. And when I met him, I knew that that was my path, but not just my path, that this was something that the whole world needed desperately. And, you know, coming from my background where I actually had, you know, trauma and sexual abuse, and then had felt so alone and isolated, and unable to talk to anyone about it because of the taboo around sexuality, I felt we have to break this taboo, and we have to bring new models of like healthy sexuality and realize that that's sacred, and that connection of the mind, the body, and the spirit that Tantra brings, that includes all of us, you know, that includes our sexuality. Because I found there's so many types of meditation or healing work, but none of them were dealing with sexuality, sensuality, and this erotic energy that's so natural to us as human beings. I mean, we all come from sex, and most of us, you know, are having sex, but because of that, you know, taboo and disconnection, a lot of people are doing that kind of in the shadow, and it could be so much more empowered. So that's really my mission, is to help people, you know, let go of any shame, let go of that taboo, and really bring this area of their life into light. And by bringing it into the light, you can bring it to its highest level for each of us. So, you know, anyone out there who may be struggling with something in your relationships, or body shame, or, you know, just a disconnection between your mind and your body, you just know that with Tantra, there's tools to reconnect the mind, the body, and the spirit. And it's different than every other form of healing that I found, because it really gets you back into your body. So instead of thinking about, you know, how you want to be different, or thinking about how you want to be a happier person, you actually engage your 5 senses. So I call Tantra that awakening through your senses and awakening through your body. Because a lot of the negative patterns that you may be trying to get rid of are stored in the cellular memory of your body. And no change is going to last until you actually change on that cellular level and start to create neural plasticity. So that's what's really exciting to me about Tantra, is it actually connects with the brain science. So it, you know, it isn't just woo-woo. This is actually the brain science of activating your body to create more serotonin and more dopamine. So when we say Tantra is the path of ecstasy, we're talking about those surges that you can release in yourself of these happy, healthy hormones, these ecstatic hormones of serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin. Oxytocin is the love and bonding hormone. So just imagine within your own body, if you learn special ways to breathe and to activate through touch, that you can actually manufacture oxytocin, which makes you feel love and bonding, and is especially important in that people are saying they're blocked around intimacy. So the way to break through that block is to start to activate that oxytocin and opening the heart. People are so afraid to talk about it because women have experienced sexual trauma. Everywhere I go, people are like, well, I don't know, and they don't know if people are ready. Is the audience ready for this? That's what everyone's concerned about. And I say every time we test the waters, people are so ready. People are so hungry for this, because it's about more than sex. It's about your whole life. My greatest desire is people wouldn't feel alone and isolated and ashamed about that, but actually we could come together and have that be something we could feel compassion and start to build intimacy even here in this webinar. We can start to break through that and feel that connection with each other and that intimacy here. Just imagine, what if you thought of sex as one of the most sacred things that a human being could ever do? I like to think that as difficult as any day may be, you know, and I think that's, as human beings, it's like you have a hard day, you're stressed out, and we start to blame our lives and our body and our sexuality. It's like, ugh, the problem is my desires. But really, your soul came to this planet to make love to everything here. And the most beautiful thing I think that a soul can do is to make love to another soul in a human body. Because with these bodies, we can taste, we can touch each other. Even just touching my own arm, it's like I get these tingles and shivers. And it's like, wow, what if we went back to that place of just feeling the wonderment of being a soul in a human body and really being able to fall in love with ourselves, our bodies, and each other. And in that way, really like life is a way of just making love to everything all the time. So if the goal is that we actually begin to live life as if we are in love with everything all the time and to experience this deeper intimacy and sacred sexuality, we have to first realize, why don't we? So where is the blockage? And a lot of us are living from a state of stress and fight, flight, or freeze and fear, rather than coming from this place of our love and sensuality and connection with everything around us. I traveled to Istanbul to meet a Sufi teacher, and my Sufi teacher taught me a really beautiful visualization that I think will be really helpful in understanding when you get trapped in fear versus being able to be in love and connection and intimacy. So I want you to just take a moment and close your eyes, put your hands on your heart. And what I was taught is that your soul is the king or the queen that's meant to make the decisions for your life, to rule your life. And the throne room for your soul is your heart, is your ability to feel. And your mind is the servant whose job is to guard the door. But for most of us, something painful or many painful things happened in our life, and we became afraid. So our mind, the servant, locked the door to our heart, trying to protect us. But in trying to protect us, it's actually made our soul fall asleep. When your heart is closed, it's as if your spirit just falls asleep. And what we need to learn to do is actually give the mind permission to open the door to the heart, to feel again, so that you can wake up your spirit, you can wake up your soul, and actually have that deeper intimacy, free from those fears of abandonment or rejection, or repeating the patterns around our childhood that are negative and no longer serving us. So just take a moment with your hands on your heart and just try and take an inhale. And with that inhale, feel you're opening that door to your heart. You're telling your mind it's okay, it's safe. And with the exhale, just letting go of any expectations or fears. And inhaling, really receiving this present moment and this feeling of being intimate with everything around you. And exhale again, just letting go of any expectations or fears. Every inhale fearlessly, breathe in and feel your heart open and receive, and exhale, just letting go. And one more time, take that deep inhale and see if your heart can open just a little more to this feeling of intimacy. And exhale, letting go. So now just take a moment and feel how much more open your heart feels. And feel how good it is to just let go and allow yourself that intimacy of being vulnerable, even though you can't control everything. And it's really, to experience intimacy, you have to let go of control and allow yourself to get out of fear and into experience and into beauty of just being in love with everything. So take a moment and just, I want you to think to yourself, is there a place in your life or relationship where you have a blockage, an intimacy block to your heart? And where did that come from? Was there some moment in your life or your childhood or relationship that you shut your heart down, that your mind locked the door to your heart trying to protect you, but that you know that you're ready to wake up, your spirit wants more? And that waking up process is Tantra. And that's waking up to all your senses and starting to live life in Technicolor, where maybe you were in that black and white, where you're trapped in fear and afraid of experiencing your sensuality, your intimacy, and really your power as a human being. So just with that one exercise, know that you can do that every single day to build up your kind of like intimacy muscles. Your heart is a muscle. But also you can apply this on the spot. So if you find yourself in a moment where you have a very difficult moment, you're angry, you're irritable, you're reacting, I want you to take a moment and just apply that visualization. Put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath, and really just inhale and give your mind permission to move away from fear. And as you inhale, to allow yourself to receive that kind of intimacy and allow yourself to receive the present moment. And exhale, just letting go of expectation, allowing yourself to be more open to an experience. So what you just experienced is the Tantric heart meditation, and it's my gift to you. And I want you to feel how different you feel in 1 minute. And just know, you can use that as a tool. It's totally practical. You can use it every day or on the spot, and it will completely revolutionize your ability to be intimate with other people and with yourself. The next thing that I want to teach you is how to bring more energy into your body so that you can be more open and reverse these patterns of holding negativity and fear. This is a practice that I call the Bliss breath. We're going to do the Bliss breath, and after that, I'm going to have you identify on your physical body where that blockage is, because every blockage has 3 parts: a physical part, a psychological part, and an energy part. So I'm going to help you learn where you have hidden intimacy blocks that you might not know about. But the thing to remember, and with Tantra, we learn to use your body, and the body doesn't lie. The mind is very subtle and tricky. So your mind will tell you all kinds of stories, and every time you're about to have a massive breakthrough, that's usually when your mind starts to fool you the most. But your body never lies. So we're going to go right into the body right now. I'm going to help you have that experience. So I want you to take your hands, and we're going to do something called my transformational sound breath. This is amazing. This is a lot of people's just favorite exercise. At first, you may feel a little awkward or funny, but no, you're going to have a massive breakthrough. It gives you more energy than a cup of coffee and more blissful energy and neural reprogramming. So it's going to look a little funny, but I want you to just move right past that. Nobody's watching you, or if somebody is, you know, this is for your own personal growth, and that's more important than being worried about what other people are thinking about you. So I want you to inhale, raise your arms, and on your exhale, you're going to go, ha, and I want you to use that sound to release any tension or stress that's causing these intimacy blocks in your body. So there's a saying that sound is like a thief, and it will steal the tension out of your body. So we're going to inhale, reach up, and exhale, ha. Inhale, reaching up, and exhale, ha. And really use that sound, ha. Let go of stress, irritation, anger, anything you're dealing with right now. I want you to use this moment in this breath to just release it and let it go. So we're going to do this for 30 seconds together. We're just going to flow through it. So I want you to just follow with me at home. Inhale, reaching up, and exhale, ha, 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 ha. Keep going. If you get tired, I want you to keep going, because doing it will give you more energy. Inhale, reaching up, and ha, 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 ha. Really use your sound. Ha, 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 ha. If you're mad at somebody, just let it go now. Ha, 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 ha. Take a deep inhale. Keep your eyes closed, and I want you to use your hands and place them anywhere on your body that maybe you feel a little pain or discomfort. So just don't think too much. Just put your hands right on your body where you feel that pain or discomfort that comes up from doing this breathing exercise. So go ahead and open your eyes. Now, for me, that's my right shoulder. And what I've learned through Tantra is that this is a map. My body is a map to these intimacy blocks. And this block is at my heart level. So when I have shoulder pain, it's really that I've spent years kind of trying to protect my heart by being overactive with my shoulders, and my adrenal glands and everything just like pops up, and that kind of trying to protect myself because I've had trauma coming from my childhood. And so that's my main issue that I continue to kind of recognize, work through, and it's so much better than it used to be. And it's something that I continue to use these practices to work on. When people have low back pain, which is so common, the lower back is the second level or the second chakra. And so that is your Shakti or your creative sexual energy. So then the low back pain is either sometimes there's a lot of that creative energy and it doesn't have an outlet, right? Sexual energy that doesn't have an outlet, or sexual energy that isn't like grounded in the root chakra. And the root chakra, right below the second chakra, is the family patterns. When somebody has pain in their lower back, I just ask them to think about what family patterns that they learned about sexuality. Was it something that was given freedom and liberation, or was there a kind of a constriction or that feeling of taboo around the sexual energy? And that kind of does pinch you in your spine and in your nervous system and create that pain in the lower back. And that's true for most people, is that we grew up with these kind of like family patterns where our sexuality wasn't something we were taught to be empowered around. And so, for example, somebody at home, you may have had pain at your throat, and then that would be a blockage to your voice. So your ability to be able to be authentic. And it's so strong that sometimes trying to speak your truth might feel like, you know, there's a hand on your throat stopping you. And that's another way that shame manifests. And that's another way in Tantra that you learn how to free your energy. And by using this current of Shakti and that sexual energy, it starts to remove the blocks on all these different levels, these intimacy blocks. I worked with a woman last week, and when she did this, her pain was at her forehead, and so that's her intuition. So that's her ability to kind of trust her inner voice of what's right and wrong in her life, or a feeling of confusion around intimacy and relationships. But remember, we all really do know through our intuition if that's the right relationship or the wrong relationship. It's just we're not always ready to maybe make a change. And so from that fear, we kind of create this confusion and not being ready to see the truth. So what you just experienced was using the sound breath, which is a Tantra breath, to help you to release tension, get out of your left brain where you're holding all this fear and old negative patterns, holding you back from intimacy, and moving to the right brain state through using that exercise where you liberate that energy, and wherever your blockage is, it starts to surface. So you can actually identify it through your body. So I want you to look at that map of the 7 levels of intimacy, which are related to the chakras. And I want you to make a note to yourself. If you felt pain at your throat, then you would look at your throat chakra and understand that the physical piece of that is that feeling at the throat. But psychologically, that's representing not being able to use your voice to experience authentic intimacy and being trapped in that fear. And on an energy level, that's blocking all this energy that could be flowing through your body. So the important thing to start to recognize when you look at that map, let's say that you have your blockage at, the 3rd chakra. Every time you interact with another person, your energy only goes to a certain level where that block is. So even hugging a person will be affected by where the different blocks are. And then imagine when you're actually making love or being more intimate with someone. Again, these blocks are going to block the energy of connection between you to be intimate with other people. So I've used that technique before with the sound breath, working with top-level NFL athletes. I just had a call with one of the athletes I've worked with. He's a linebacker in the NFL, and he was telling me how much it's helped him. And he said the time he really uses it is right before a game. He said right before a game, he's sitting in his hotel room, and he starts to get really nervous. And he knows he's about to walk in front of 90,000 people and have to perform and be filmed on TV. And that using that sound breath in that moment really calms his nerves, helps him to feel grounded. And then he said when he gets out there on the field, he's less emotional. And instead of reacting to his emotions out of fear or that fight, flight, or freeze, he can really get in the zone and react in a way that helps him to make better decisions and to have a better performance. He also said doing that sound breath helps him to have more energy in general. And since he started doing it, he can run much further without getting tired. So it helps him to last longer and have more vitality. So you may not be an NFL athlete, but I think all of us have moments that we can relate to, walking into a meeting or meeting somebody new, and you get that feeling of your nerves, jumping up, or feeling the butterflies in your stomach, or a little nauseous. And just know you can use that at any point in time to help to connect to your sense of your own inner power and strength. Let go of that nervous energy, that fight, flight, or freeze, and move to having this more empowered Tantric Shakti energy filling your body, which gives you that confidence to face anything. I also use that breath with an actress. So this is an actress who, really famous, I can't say her name, but she was in an Oscar-winning movie, and for her, she had found herself in a lifelong pattern of, not being able to stick in relationships. So she would get close to someone, but it just wouldn't last. And she was really starting to just give up any hope. And she was in a relationship when I met her and ready to break the whole thing off. In fact, she was already talking to me about how she was going to pack up and feeling really guilty about how her kids were going to feel, if she moved out and broke off her relationship with her boyfriend. And I told her, let's just take a minute, just give me one session to help you kind of reconnect, get out of your head, get back into your body, and let's try and figure out where this intimacy block is actually coming from. And she did that sound breath with me. And when she did it, she was able to kind of get out of that frozen place that she'd been in and realize that her blockage really came from her second chakra, and that she had trauma from being a child around her sexual energy, and it had caused her to really shut down most of her life because she had so much fear of abandonment again, or of trauma again. And so she would have relationships but never really let anybody in. And so that's where she was again. She was in this moment of reenactment, about to break off a relationship, and I asked her, is that more comfortable to you? Is running away actually more comfortable to you now than learning to stay? And what if you actually just tried to give this moment of intimacy or vulnerability a chance? And so the next day I did a session with her and her boyfriend, and I taught him how to do a Tantra massage with her. And while he was doing the Tantra massage, I really coached her to do that inhale, breathe in, receive, and exhale, just letting go. And it was amazing the breakthrough that they had. She was able to recognize her own fear of abandonment was the intimacy block that was keeping her from having a deeper relationship and a lasting relationship. And they're actually married now. So that's how effective that technique was for her to break, a pattern that was over 20 years of her running away from relationships and running away from deeper vulnerability. So I just want you to know these techniques, they look so simple. It's just breathing, it's just intention, but they literally will change and transform your whole life and help you to have those deeper desires. Because she was saying, on the mental level, that she was ready to leave the relationship, but really she was longing for that deeper heart connection and to finally feel safe and to be able to be vulnerable and connect in that deeper intimacy. So now that you've identified on your physical body where you have the intimacy block and how that's manifesting on the physical layer, on the psychological layer, and how that's manifesting in the energy level for you, now we're going to get into how do you heal it. This is where Tantra is really special and really different, and why I spent 9 years traveling to India, going back and forth to study it and to really bring this revolutionary gift to the world. And that's because we go into the body and it's an awakening through the senses and your sensuality. And I just don't know any other practices that really utilize your body and your sensuality that way. So I'm going to teach you a technique called the Bliss breath and also feather light touch. And we're going to combine these two Tantra techniques to help you to just have an amazing and immediate transformation and breakthrough. So I had my intimacy block and that pain was in my shoulder. So I'm going to be touching there. If you had pain in your forehead, I want you to be doing that feather-like touch there at the forehead. If you have it in your low back, you're doing that feather-like touch at the low back. And the key to this feather-like touch is imagine it's just like a feather. So just take your fingertips and wherever that is, just the lightest touch. And I want you to feel that when you touch very lightly, that you feel more. And that's one of the secrets of Tantra, is this kind of art of building anticipation and slowing down and being more present to feel more. I think most of us just rush through the day. You know, how we do one thing is how we do everything. And I tell people all the time, how do you eat your food? How often do you get lunch and you don't even know, you didn't even taste it? You're texting, you're talking to someone else, the food's gone, you didn't even taste or experience that. So imagine how that is with our own bodies, or making love with someone else and trying to be intimate. We're not even there half the time. So this feather-light touch and slowing things down and using Tantra is going to help you to be more present and to actually be awake and feel more of your life and what's available. And it's pleasure, it's beauty, it's everything. So take your fingertips and again, just lightly touching wherever you felt that intimacy block or that pain. And I want you to add the bliss breath. So the bliss breath, you're going to take a long, slow, deep inhale and let there be a whispering sound at the back of your throat. And then a long, slow, deep exhale with that same whispering sound. So it's called the bliss breath because the longer and slower and deeper the breaths that you're able to take, just notice how that means you're able to feel more. If I was not paying attention to my breathing pattern and touching my body, I wouldn't feel as much of an awakening of my senses. But with this long, slow, deep breath and coupled with the feather-light touch, you can really start to feel everything coming alive, everything slowly melting. And I think you'll notice that if you have that feeling of pain, that pain starts to melt away into feelings of more bliss and more pleasure and more ecstasy. So I want you to be able to use these techniques anytime. Again, if it was here at my forehead, I would do that deep bliss breath with that whispering sound at the back of my throat. Long, slow, deep inhales and long, slow, deep exhales, partnered with this very soft and sensual touch, light as a feather. And if that pain was in your low back, doing the same thing with the bliss breath and that feather-light touch at the low back, the shoulders, at your throat, at your belly, wherever you're feeling that intimacy block, you can just apply these two techniques immediately. So just take a moment and feel. So I want you to take a moment after doing that feather-light touch and bliss breath and just scan your physical body and notice any shifts in the physical body. So for me, I already feel kind of a feeling of pleasure where I had felt that pain in my shoulder. And now I want you to take a deep breath and just scan your psychological body. Are you thinking happier thoughts now after we did that exercise? Are you more present to this moment? And now take another deep breath, and I want you to scan your energy body. So before we began that, my energy was smaller than my body, and now I really feel my energy is so much bigger than my body and filling the whole room and even beyond this room. So with that feather-light touch and with the bliss breath, in a matter of just 1 or 2 minutes, you'll have a total transformation and shift on the 3 levels of the physical body, of your psychological body or your thoughts and emotions, and on your energy level of your body. So Tantra is incredibly effective because it brings you mind, body, and energy connection, both to yourself and intimacy with other people. So just imagine how much more beautiful your life could be if you had that mind, body, soul connection in everything you did, and especially in relationships and making love. So the first exercise that we did was the Tantric heart meditation. And this helps you to move from that fight, flight, or freeze pattern of being trapped in your left brain and always thinking that your whole life is just going to be a repetition of negative experiences. And that's what shuts us down from being available to be more intimate and to have better and more pleasurable experiences. So that moved you into your right brain state where you begin to feel bliss and ecstasy and that anything is possible. And then you're available to having that intimacy, more pleasure, and that, that connection to Tantra. So that Tantric heart technique, again, is teaching you how to move from the left brain to the right brain and create neural plasticity so you're not afraid to create new experiences and replace fear with pleasure and intimacy and love. The next exercise we did was the transformational sound breath. Now that is so powerful because it's going to help you to release all these pent-up emotions that we suppress. So really understanding that what's in the way of you and the intimacy and the great sex and the relationships that you desire is a lot of these repressed emotions. And the Tantra sound breath is ha, 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 just let it go. And remember, you can do that every day or on the spot whenever you need to. And then we looked on your chakra map and identified exactly where on your physical body you have an intimacy block. And then understanding how that physical location correlates to your psychological blockage as well as your energy blockage. The next exercise that we did was the Bliss breath along with the feather-light touch. And that's using that sensual massage through Tantra and helping you to have that mind-body-spirit connection and to give yourself permission to melt away a lot of the layers of numbness or pain and start to feel that really amazing and wonderful connection to your own body and your own sensuality. And just imagine if that felt that good, doing that and doing that feather-light touch with yourself, how good that's going to feel when you learn how to give somebody else that kind of feather-light touch. That was just the appetite. That was just the tip of the program. So there's so much more. But I wanted you to get a taste of how quickly you can utilize these tools. It doesn't take hours a day. It isn't out of your reach. These are simple techniques that in a minute or two, once I teach them to you, you learn how to integrate them on the spot. Maybe some of you out there, this is a little bit out of your comfort zone, or maybe this pushes some of your buttons or triggers. But I want you to know that I get emails every day from people saying, I really want to take your program, Sam, but I'm scared or it brings things up for me. And what I say to them is, well, how long are you going to wait? How long are you going to live in that kind of smaller place inside yourself instead of expanding? And when we talk about sensuality and sexuality, it's literally the most natural human experience. But we've kind of gotten everything backwards and we put a taboo around that. We can talk about abundance, we can talk about everything else, but really some of your biggest blocks that are fundamental to the way you do everything in your life are actually below your belly button. So you may say you want to open your heart, you want to open your mind, but my teacher in India said most people need to start looking below their belly button to actually discover where those blockages really are. The difference between regular sex and tantric sex is a full mind-body spirit connection. And it's amazing to me, I think, how many people aren't really connected when they have sex and how these little issues and insecurities they have, maybe body shame, keeps them from really being present to themselves and their partners. I recently did a radio interview and the woman hosting the show told me every time she has sex with her husband, and this is her husband, that there's certain positions she doesn't like. So she doesn't like to be on top because she said the whole time she thinks like, how does my stomach look? So that insecurity and body shame issue that she has is inhibiting her from that full experience, from experiencing, that position, but it's not just about that. So if she's having sex with her husband and while that's happening, she's thinking, how does my stomach look? She's disconnected from him, right? So that's a whole layer of spirit connection and mind and body connection that they're losing out on, because she has this insecurity. And these insecurities are so common. And it just makes me so sad that we've been taught to kind of judge our bodies and to kind of like look at ourselves from the outside, like I'm not as good as a magazine, and compare ourselves from the outside. What I teach you to do is to get out of your mind, out of seeing yourself from the outside, and really feel from the inside. Give yourself permission to feel good. So if I have to answer the question, how is regular sex different than tantric sex? I would say imagine the difference between flying coach and first class. So it's a pretty big difference. And imagine if you had the opportunity to fly first class the rest of your life, but you just kept getting in coach. So that's how I view it when people don't level up to learning Tantra and having tantric sex, where it can just be so much more amazing and such a more beautiful and pleasurable experience. And it's right at your fingertips. So the end game with Tantra is about what you want and you desire in your life. It's helping people break through these blockages they have to intimacy, but also these blockages they have to their own Shakti, which again is the most powerful energy you have. It is the rocket fuel for you to live the life of purpose and passion that you want. So in the course, I take people through the 7 levels so that wherever you're at, you're gonna get exactly what you need. Whether you're single or you're in a relationship, whether it's a man or a woman, I've designed this course to meet everybody exactly where they are. And the first part of the course is really around identifying where those blockages are so that we can start to break through them. And in week 1 of this course, I really teach what is the difference between tantric sex and regular sex, and the psychological roadblocks for men and women, and male and female energy of yin and yang and how to balance that. Maybe, if you're a man with imbalanced energy or a woman with imbalanced energy, how you can learn to start to balance that. And also how to identify if you're hyper or hyposexual. So I've also designed it so that you have a daily video practice. It's 20 minutes, just 20 minutes, and it's gonna start to flood your system with dopamine, serotonin, all these happy hormones. And that first week is about the kiss meditation, which will help you to develop intimacy and connection. And in week 1, you're also gonna have a workbook where you write down and identify what your erotic root is. And this is where we go back to your childhood and really look at, what patterns were you given around your sexuality and intimacy and relationships? And are they empowering to your life right now or disempowering to your life right now? So at the end of week 1, you're gonna feel this massive breakthrough in intimacy and in the ability to give and to receive. Now, you can do my daily video with a partner or on your own. And what you're going to find is it's just going to start to strip away the layers of that fight, flight, or freeze or numbness that you have. And you're going to have a massive heart opening at the end of week 1. And that's that first level. So the commitment that it takes for this massive intimacy breakthrough is just 20 minutes a day of doing that daily practice video, as well as about 2 hours of watching content on the weekend. So you can see it's completely doable. Anybody can find 20 minutes a day to have these kinds of breakthroughs in your life. In week 2, I'm going to be getting into this second level. And this is going to be about the benefits of sex as helping your brain to be happier and healthier, more creative, the benefits of orgasm. And I'm also going to go through the 4 main roadblocks to orgasm, as well as how to work with healing trauma. This week, in week 2, you're going to have a 20-minute practice, which is 3-part Tantra breath work, as well as the secret squeeze practice. It's very secret and it's very exciting. And the breakthrough that you're going to have at the end of week 2 is going to be understanding your patterns of where your stress builds up in your life, that's fight or flight, and where you have your pleasure addictions. So that may surprise you, because it isn't just about sex. You may get that release from stress and pleasure in how you eat your food or alcohol or so many other ways that we use to relieve our stress that sometimes become addictions. And you'll have a breakthrough in understanding that and moving past that. And for week 2, the commitment that you need to have that breakthrough is just 20 minutes a day, again, doing that 3-part Tantra breath every day and the secret squeeze, and about 2 hours of watching the weekly content and lectures. So in week 3, we're going to get to the 3rd level. And this is about learning the 7 chakras and the intimacy blocks, as well as learning the microcosmic orbit, which helps you to have multiple orgasms. Wouldn't that be nice? The other thing you're going to learn here is Tantra touch. And your daily practice this week is going to be the microcosmic orbit technique and how to activate all of your chakras. Now, in your writing, you're going to write about the experience of having all of your chakras awakened with that sexual energy and what that feels like to you. At the end of week 3, you're going to have the experience of having that Shakti, that sexual energy, moving through all your chakras without any blockages, and how amazing that feels. So in week 4, we're going to get into sacred sexuality. So this is the really sensual, sexy stuff. And those of you who want to have this erotic breakthrough, in this week we're going to cover how to have multiple orgasms for men and women. And this is really an energy technique that you're going to learn, and it will completely revolutionize your whole life. It'll give you, it's not just about sex again, even if you feel you're not ready to take that into the bedroom or sex, it's going to give you more energy every day, and you can do it with your clothes on or start practicing with a partner. So there's a full range to meet you wherever you're comfortable. Your daily practice is going to include the milking technique and multiple orgasms. So this is where you're going to really get into learning sacred sexuality and breaking through all those intimacy blocks to experience more pleasure. Some of you may be wondering, maybe you're too old to do this practice. It's not true. Age has nothing to do with the Shakti and with the sexual energy. In fact, one of my students was 70 years old when she had a massive breakthrough. And she'd been married for 35 years. Her and her husband had gotten to a point that their marriage was drifting apart. Their intimacy had drifted apart, and she didn't have a lot of hope for it. You know, they'd been married so long, I think a lot of people just think, nah, that part of our life is over. But she came and studied Tantra with me, and her husband didn't even do it. So if you have any doubts, will this work if your partner isn't learning it with you? It works even if you're doing it on your own. So she came and studied Tantra and went back, and her husband said, like, what are you doing? This is the most amazing sex we've ever had in our lives at 70, after 35 years of marriage. So age is not an issue, the amount of time you've been together isn't an issue, and whether or not your partner studies this with you is not an issue. This will help you to have a breakthrough no matter what. It is amazing, and to me, again, when people don't step forward and choose this, you know, it just makes me sad. I'm like, how long are you gonna go without utilizing these tools that can make your whole life so much better, make your relationships last longer and be more exciting? It's actually so simple to do if you just say yes. So in week 5, we're gonna get into the 5th level, and this gets even sexier in our sacred sexuality. I'm gonna teach you how to create a ritual of the 5 senses. So really turning sex into worship again, or prayer. And I'm also going to teach you how to give and receive Tantra massage and different levels of connection with the kiss meditation, as well as orgasming together. And your daily practice is going to be 24 minutes of partnered O yoga. At the end of week 5, you're going to really know what it is to have this sacred experience of Tantra and turning sex into this ritual and giving and receiving these kinds of Tantra touch and massage. In week 6, we're going to get into the Kama Sutra. So we're going to get into different positions that help to give you the most pleasure to both partners. And I also teach you how to apply the 10 Tantric secrets into each of those poses. And I promise it's completely different than anything you've experienced before. It takes sex to a whole other level of just being deeper, more pleasurable, and more intimate. And I also teach you how to give and receive sacred spot massage for him and her. And your daily practice is going to be taking one of those positions and applying all of the 10 secrets. And you can do that with or without a partner. So at the end of week 6, you're going to really have that experience of, you know, being able to experience that deeper pleasure and intimacy with your partner, because all of those blockages to your intimacy will be melting away, and you will be connecting on an entirely different level, especially when you learn that ritual of the 5 senses and how to give and receive these sacred spot massages where you're really worshiping each other and treating that as the most sacred thing that 2 humans can do together. It's really amazing. I wish, I hope everybody takes this, because I want to see you on the other side of that breakthrough. So week 7 is the 7th level, and this is one of my favorite things to teach, because this is where we go beyond sex. So again, the first section of this course is designed to help you recognize those blocks and to break through them. The second section was really about, when we get sexy and starting to experience sacred sexuality once all those intimacy blocks break away. But week 7, we go beyond sex and we learn how to take your sexual energy and to use it to manifest anything you want in your life. So I call this sex magic, and understanding that that's kind of that secret sauce that no one's taught you, and how you can use creative visualizations and take that sexual energy. Again, sex is something so powerful, it can create a new human life. But you can take that same creative energy, and once you learn to visualize and focus it, you can use it to create anything. You know, some of the greatest artists of all time, or entrepreneurs, or performers, athletes, they've learned how to harness that sexual energy and really focus it into an area they want to be excellent at and perform at a very elite level. And I personally work with a lot of, A-list celebrities, professional athletes, and they really know how to take that sexual energy and put it into their chosen area of focus, and to really then excel far beyond what most other people will ever experience in their life. So again, that's week 7. At the end of week 7, you will understand how to be a master of sex and how to master your sexual energy with these creative visualizations to really achieve anything you desire in your life. And whether you have a partner or not, you're going to benefit from this program. If you don't have a partner yet, it's going to help you attract a partner. And if you already have a partner, it's going to help you to stay together. That's not a problem. If your partner isn't ready, you doing this program on your own is going to level up your sex life. I told the story about one female student I had. Her husband wasn't ready to do Tantra. She did it on her own, and he said, it was the best sex they ever had. He said, "What are you doing?" So just know by doing it on your own, you'll improve the sex life for both of you. And who knows, that might get your partner interested in starting to do it with you. So if your sex life is already amazing, then this is the program. Learning Tantra is really going to help you to take that energy to the next level. I started studying Tantra, and my block wasn't that I didn't have great sex. I already had great sex. It was then understanding there was such a deeper level of it being sacred, of it being spiritual. And even though I'd had good sex before, once I learned Tantra, it was so massively different, and you have to really feel that and experience it for yourself. You can still benefit from this program because by recognizing where those blockages are and starting to release them, it'll pave the way in the future for you maybe to go into the more sexual part of the curriculum. But the curriculum is divided in such a way that you can first just work on releasing trauma and getting yourself to a level that you feel really comfortable. This course is perfect for the kind of person who isn't comfortable with their body. If that's one of your issues, I really help you to break through body shame, insecurities, and you have to remember that isn't just about sex. If you're saying to yourself, "Oh, that's just about sex," it's not. If you have insecurities about your body or you're not comfortable with your body, that is going to affect every area of your life. And by learning to love your body and break through that, the way you walk in a room is going to change the way people perceive you. You're going to have more confidence, and you're going to be more attractive and magnetic to people. This program is for men and women, and if you're gay, you can apply these same principles. I have a lot of my students who are straight or gay, and these principles apply to absolutely everyone and will improve everyone's life and sex life. I created this course with 10 years of teaching Tantra expertise, working with tens of thousands of men and women. And these tools and this kind of course would usually be at least $1,000. So it's all packed in there. And I just want you to imagine where you can be in 7 weeks if you're willing to commit yourself to this program, and especially packaged in this way. Welcome to this 7-week journey into better sex, deeper intimacy, and personal magnetism to attract the life and relationships that you want. I'm Sama Zadora. I'm a sex expert and intimacy coach, and I'm so excited to be able to help you and guide you through the many aspects of soulful sexuality. The first 3 weeks of this course is focused on the prep work, which is to identify and clear whatever roadblocks you have in your optimal sex and intimacy. This includes psychological, physiological, and energetic roadblocks. The following 3 weeks, we'll be getting into more of the physical side of things and what you can do, such as positions and tantra massages, and that's where it gets a little sexy.
In the last week of the course, I'm going to teach you how to channel all of these things that you've learned, not only to have better sex and intimacy, but to have a more successful life in general. The things that you will learn in this course can be applied to both men and women, whether you're single or in a relationship. And if you're single, this will help you to understand yourself at a deeper level and helping you attracting the life you want from within yourself first, which can be used to attract the right partner and prepare you for the relationship of deep connection and intimacy you desire. If you're already in a relationship or you're married, this course will really help you in also strengthening that bond for you and your partner. Each week's topics builds on each other, so I would advise that you go through the course in succession, at least for the first round. And after that, you can always revert back to whatever week's topic is most relevant to what's happening in your life at any time. At the end of this 7 weeks, you'll be able to identify and break through those roadblocks to intimacy, give yourself permission for pleasure, and have mind-blowing sex. You'll be getting a lot of practical tools that can be used every day, from your office desk to the bedroom, and it will boost your pleasure, your arousal, and your connection. The more you commit to doing these exercises, the more powerful the results will be in your life. But it's up to you to make that decision to commit to this program. Now, during the course, I want you to remember that there will be times and moments where you'll feel a little uncomfortable as we stretch the bounds of your intimacy and the patterns you've been in your whole life. You're in this program because you want more. You want more pleasure, more love, more energy, more success. So you're going to have to stretch yourself to grow. So just remember, as we go through the 7 weeks together, if you ever hit one of those road bumps, don't panic, don't judge yourself, and don't judge the program. Just understand it's a perfectly normal part of this growth process and actually a sign that you're about to have a breakthrough and evolve to a whole other level. There's a quote that I really love by Anais Nin, and she says, "And the day came when the risk it took to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom." I want you to know I'm here for you. I have worked with tens of thousands of people before, and we're in this together. There is nothing you will experience that someone I've worked with before hasn't, and I've already built everything you need into this program to get through all of these roadblocks. And remember, without a little friction, life wouldn't be very exciting. And with friction comes climax. So I'm so happy that we're going to go on this journey together. So thank you for joining this class, and I'll see you in week 1. Welcome to week 1. In this week, you will discover the difference between tantric sex and regular sex, whether you're hyper or hyposexual, your erotic fingerprint, and common intimacy roadblocks and how to overcome them. Your mind is your biggest sex organ, so you must first learn how to overcome your psychological blocks to have better intimacy. How is tantric sex different than regular sex? Regular sex only connects you on a physical level. Tantra is a total mind, body, spirit connection, what I call soul sex. Tantra teaches you how to be authentic in intimacy and say what you really want, as well as being vulnerable enough to connect on a deeper level. Approaching sex as worship, as a ritual to connect with each other and something greater than ourselves. Tantra is mindful sexuality. It is a path to continually explore and expand, which means it keeps things interesting in the bedroom for long-term relationships, as well as if you're single. Sexual energy isn't just about having sex. It is the creative energy. It's the rocket fuel for your whole life. In India, this was called Shakti or Chi, the sexual dynamic energy that is in everything and animating all of us. We all come from sex, and so we shouldn't have such a taboo to talk about it and to educate ourselves on how to have better relationships, better intimacy, and more pleasure. Applying Tantra will allow you to experience whole body and multiple orgasms, whether you're a man or a woman. I firmly believe that how you do one thing is how you do everything. So how you eat is also how you make love. Now think about all the times you eat without really tasting your food. Maybe you eat your lunch and you're talking on the phone or sending emails. Did you even stop and taste anything? So I'm going to teach you a little exercise on how to eat chocolate in a tantric way. So I want you to get a piece of chocolate, and we're going to do this in the tantric way, which means delaying your gratification. So taking a piece of chocolate, instead of just eating it quickly while you're distracted, maybe thinking about something else, or like I said, looking at the computer or talking on your cell phone, I want you to stop everything and eat this piece of chocolate like you're making love. So take the piece of chocolate and really pause. And I want you to awaken all of your senses. So first, just holding it and just smell. Just take a moment and really smell until you start to feel your mouth salivate. So when you take the time to be in your body, then you start to feel your body's arousal, desire, and natural responses. So just smelling this chocolate, I can already feel my mouth watering. And then take a minute and just feel the texture of the chocolate. Just tease yourself as you play the chocolate, just across your lips. Just tease yourself. And then you're going to take that chocolate and again, take a few more minutes, breathe deep and smell, kind of tease yourself. And then you're going to take the chocolate and just lick the chocolate. So taking a minute and really just tease, taste, and really let that desire build before you just consume it mindlessly. So just take this moment and then put it in your mouth. So just take that moment and really feel. Again, you moved a little slower. You delayed your gratification. You waited until your body responded. So we're going to get into how to make love just like that, to actually slow down and to feel what your body wants and get out of your head and into awakening your senses. It will help you to be so much more conscious of what it is you truly desire and help you to let go of these roadblocks. Again, your mind is your biggest sex organ. So let's get out of those psychological roadblocks and awaken back into your body.
Hi, I'm Sam Isadora, and welcome to the Tantra Kiss Connection Meditation. So this is an amazing, amazing practice that will absolutely change your life and help you to have those breakthroughs in intimacy that you want. And it's really about, I think, even just learning to have intimacy with yourself through this practice, as well as being able to share intimacy with someone else. So when we go through this practice, if you don't have a partner at home, it's okay. You're basically going to imagine that you have a partner and kind of visualize going through these exercises with that partner of your choice, and you'll hold that as a visualization. But I'm going to be doing this practice here with Lily. and so it's a very simple practice, the Kiss Connection Method. And the K stands for kinetic. So again, Tantra is all about getting out of your head and into your body and awakening through the 5 senses and being more present. The I in the Kiss meditation stands for intimacy. So that intimacy that I think we're all really craving on some level, but we've kind of gone into that fear state where we're afraid to be vulnerable, to be open, to be intimate, to be naked and be seen in any moment. The first S in the Kiss meditation stands for sensuality. So this is awakening and giving yourself permission to kind of be sensual, to slow everything down. And that's what the second S in Kiss stands for, is slowing down so you can be more present. So we're going to go through this meditation together. And again, if you're alone, just visualize a partner. If you have a partner, then you'll be practicing together. Now there's 3 points of connection that we're going to practice, and the first point of connection is the hand to heart connection. So I'm going to take my hand and place it on her heart. She'll put her hand on my heart. And maybe before we do anything else, just take a few breaths, because
This touch at the heart actually opens the heart chakra, and in a very scientific way, what that means is that it starts to release oxytocin, which is the love and bonding hormone. So simply having touch at your heart means you start to produce this oxytocin, love and bonding hormone in your body, and you start to think more positive and happy thoughts. So placing our hands over each other's hands really forms a seal and locks in this energy of connecting at your hearts and really giving and receiving this oxytocin. And so every time you inhale, I want you to do the second practice of connection, which is connecting at your breath. So first connection, hand to heart, we've established that. Now we're going to move to the second connection, breathing at the same time. So inhale and exhale together. Good, and so inhale, and you can even count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhaling together for a count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhaling together for a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. So keep breathing at the same time. Now the breath you're doing is that bliss breath. And the bliss breath is that slight constriction at the back of your throat, so you hear a whispering sound, this kind of sensual whispering sound at the back of your throat. I like to call it the sexy Darth Vader sometimes, but you should really hear your breath, and you should be able to hear your partner's breath. If you can't hear each other's breath, then turn up the volume of your breathing. Your breath really becomes like this hypnotic music that you're listening to, and helps you get out of your head and into your body by using that sense of hearing. I'm hearing the breath. I'm feeling my lungs expand. So now we're going to move to the third point of connection. So you're going to hold the first point of connection, hand to heart, feel that heart energy exchanging, and we're breathing at the same time. Every inhale, you're receiving energy from your partner. So really feel inhale, receive that energy from your partner, and exhale, giving that energy back to your partner. Inhale, receiving. Feel your heart opening, your lungs expanding. Feel that blissful energy. Exhale. Sending energy back. With every inhale, I receive. And with every exhale, I give back. So this will help you to have that intimacy around your heart. When it gets scary to be vulnerable, scary to receive, you have to really let go of control. I can't control anyone else, but I can control my ability to just relax, receive, open your heart to that other person and their energy, and exhale, giving back and letting go of expectations. That's a really important part of this. As I inhale, I receive, I open my heart, and I exhale, giving back and letting go of any expectations. Just being present in this moment for this connection without all the fear of the past or the future, just being present through the body. Tantra is awakening through the senses and feeling your body. Okay, so now this third connection is the eye connection. So go ahead, and if you can, you're just going to hold the eye connection. This is a little special technique, and it's diffused field of vision. So as you look into your partner's eyes, you also look at the whole room around them, which softens the gaze. So you're looking directly into your partner's eyes as well as seeing the whole room. Every inhale together, every exhale together. Softening that gaze. The eyes are the windows to the soul. So just imagine, just being very present, naked in the moment. Let yourself see and be seen. We even have a taboo of really not letting people see us, or not taking the time to really look into someone's eyes and into their energy. And keep inhaling together and exhale. Inhaling. Exhale. And even feel that you're giving and receiving energy at your eyes. So inhale, receiving that gaze, the energy from your partner's eyes, and exhale, sending them energy back. Inhale, I receive.
And exhale, I let go, giving back without expectations. Inhale, receive. And exhale, giving back, letting go of expectations. Go to just 3 more breaths together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. So I just like to end the practice. We just bow to each other, and namaste actually means that very pure place in me bows to that very pure place in you. And in that moment, everything else is gone. Just that feeling of connection and bliss. So that's the kiss connection practiced on this level, which is the friend and family level and the love level. Later on in the course, I'll be teaching you how to practice it on the erotic level. But I want you to keep repeating this video, and notice that every time you repeat the video, it's a different experience. They always say you can't put your hand in the same river twice. So really every day when I do this practice, I notice different things about myself, or if it's with the same person or a different person. Really just being present means every moment is like a fresh new moment. And what most of us are doing is walking around we're just locked in our left brain saying everything's going to be like the past. And so we have fear of abandonment, fear of being hurt. That's what keeps us from being able to have that intimacy that we can experience through the kiss meditation. But by being in the body and practicing this, you go out of that left brain state of fear of the past and moving into this present moment where anything is possible. Anything. So thank you, Lily.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, everybody. And I'll see you in the next video. So this next section is a group exercise. And so our group exercise for this module is the kiss meditation. And the reason why I want to do this as group meditation together is because I got a lot of questions from you. How do I do the kiss meditation alone? And so by teaching this to you as a group exercise on this call, not only am I going to be able to answer those questions, I want you to know that when we do this together, even though we're not sitting in the same room, the fact that we're doing this as a group exercise means that we start to really have a group healing and a group empowerment. It is incredible what happens when we all do this together. And I really can feel your energy and your connection in this group exercise, even though we're not in the same room together. So I'm excited to be able to do this with, all of you globally. I mean, how exciting is that? Is we're literally able to now connect globally through this platform in this Tantra Touch program and start to have this exchange of intimacy. Like I said, let's get naked together intimately and emotionally, and to start to have this kind of healing and power and channeling. All right, so I want to show you the process of doing this alone, and in doing this, I got a question from somebody named Tracy, and she said, when demonstrating the KISS method, can I demonstrate it as if no one was there with me? And that's exactly what I'm about to do in this group exercise. And then I had somebody else ask, Chris, can I do the KISS meditation on my own or in front of a mirror? Or does that not make any sense? Actually, Chris, that makes perfect sense. So in this group exercise, you're going to use your computer, and you're going to do this with me as your reflection. But you can also do this when you're alone and not on this group call. You can do this sitting by yourself and visualizing that there's someone else sitting across from you. Now you can visualize that's me, because now you've gotten used to seeing me in the video courses, and so you can use me to visualize doing this exercise with you at any time. Or you can visualize someone you love right now or from your past when you sit and do the KISS meditation.
Or you can sit with a mirror so you see yourself as that reflection when you do the kiss meditation, which can also be an incredibly powerful exercise. Because like I said, we really do need to start to build up to having more self-love. That's the most important thing that we can learn to do in life and in this course, is develop self-love. And then that will start to expand into every area of your life. So let's get into doing this exercise, together as a group exercise. And I want you to know, if you're doing this course alone, that you're still going to get so many benefits, whether you have a partner or you're alone, that even right now, I want you to feel the power of this group and feel the power of starting to build up self-love. Okay, so we're going to do this group exercise. I want you to just start by kind of sitting up tall, and I want you to ground yourself in your body. So feel yourself growing roots into the earth, feel your hips, and feel this, that your body is so beautiful and so powerful, and be fully alive and present in your body. And then we're gonna go into doing the first step of this, which is I want you to start to go into the bliss breath. So bring your fingers to your throat and just feel that touch at your throat. And we're gonna start to inhale and exhale, taking a deep inhale together through your nose, long, slow, deep inhale. And long, slow, deep exhale together. I want you to breathe just through your nose, not your mouth. Inhale, long, slow, deep inhale together. Exhaling through your nose, long, slow, deep exhale together. Inhaling through your nose, long, slow, deep inhale through your nose. Exhaling through your nose, long, slow, deep exhale through your nose. Good. Now, we're going to move to the second step of the bliss breath. Now that you're taking long, slow, deep breaths and really being deeply embodied and feeling your body grounded into the earth, I want you to lightly constrict the back of your throat so that when you inhale and exhale, you make this whispering sound, which I like to call the sexy Darth Vader. Remember, because I said you're being a little playful, but it means this should be loud enough for you to hear it. So don't be scared of that. So we're gonna now turn up the volume and do the sexy Darth Vader part of the bliss breath. So now I want you to hear the volume of my breath turned up, inhaling together. Exhaling together. Inhaling together. Exhaling together. Inhaling together. Exhaling together. So hearing that breath, that whispering sound, that's what part of what makes this blissful. So when I do that whispering sound, I immediately feel all this tingling happening in my body, and I start to feel much more blissful. I feel that serotonin and dopamine releasing, and my brain gets a little bit happy and buzzy. And I'm going to exhale. And again, I feel that kind of sensual, blissful energy. It's kind of orgasmic energy by breathing deep through my nose and by doing that sound, that sexy Darth Vader whispering sound. I actually start to go into this kind of hypnotic state of blissfulness and orgasmic energy. So remember, you can tap into that anytime. It's pretty amazing. Okay, so now we're going to go into the second part of the kiss meditation. Stay with that bliss breath, sound breath. And now I want you to put your hand up to the screen. And I want you to feel you're having a heart connection with me. So use me as your visual tool in this webinar. I'm connecting with all of you out there globally, and we're all connecting with each other. Right now, I want you to feel that we can have this connection with each other. in this group exercise globally. There's so many of you on this call right now. I want you to feel how we're connecting. And now take a deep inhale all together. Inhale, receive energy that you see coming through my hand, through the screen. And then I want you to exhale, send me your energy through your hand, through the screen. As you exhale. And inhale, I want you to breathe the energy I'm sending you through the screen, through my hand. Inhale, breathe that into your heart. And exhale, I want you to send me your energy through your hearts, through the computer screens. And again, inhale. I want you to inhale and breathe that energy. I'm sending you my loving energy through the computer screen, through my hand. And then exhale, I want you to send that energy, and I'm receiving your energy through my hand. And again, inhale. Receive that energy through your hand and through your heart. And exhale, send that energy back to me. And I'm going to feel that energy you're sending to me, and I'm sending energy to you. So how beautiful is that? And we're going to keep doing this. And now I want you to open your eyes, and I want you to just receive. I'm going to keep my eyes open and look into this computer screen. And I want you, as you inhale, receive the energy I'm sending you through my eyes. So we inhale together. And exhale, let go and send me your energy through your eyes. And again, I want you to soften your gaze. So as you're looking into my eyes through this screen, I want you to also see everything in the whole room around you. And what that immediately does is changes from your eyesight being tight or kind of like leaning into the screen too much. I want you to just relax and see the whole room and diffuse that field of vision. So again, inhale. I'm receiving energy through your eyes and your heart, and exhale, sending that energy back through your eyes and through your heart. Inhale, breathe in and receive. And exhale, send back through your hand and through your eyes. Inhale, breathing deep and receiving energy through your eyes, through your hands, through your heart to heal, to empower, to feel blissful. And exhale, sending that back. And feeling yourself letting go. Inhale, receive. And exhale, sending that energy back. Keep your eyes open. Now, as you inhale, I want you to maybe feel if there's anywhere in your heart that you have been blocked, or that you have pain or an intimacy block from receiving love and intimacy. And then I want you to exhale, let that go. Use this group exercise and this time to let that go. And again, inhale, breathe in. And feel yourself healing your heart and letting go of any blockages. If anything comes up, any pain, any shutting down, don't judge yourself, and then let go and give back love without any expectation. Inhale, breathing in. No judgment, just open your heart, open yourself, and exhale, let go, and give back without expectation. Again, inhale, breathing in, whether you're feeling shutting down, abandonment issues, fear of intimacy, if you feel a little judgment, it's okay, just let that go. Keep breathing in and receive, and exhale, letting go, giving back, and letting go of any expectations. And again, inhale, breathing in, I inhale, and I allow myself to receive love and intimacy. And I let go on the exhale of any fear from my past of judgment. Inhale, receive love. Open your heart, feel that expanding your heart, no judgment. And exhale, letting go and giving back. Inhale again. receiving feelings of love and opening your heart. And exhale, letting go of any pain and any fear and any expectations. And inhale, open your heart and receive again. And exhale, sending energy back, letting go of any expectations. So we're going to take 3 more breaths just like this. Inhale, breathing in. I allow myself to be vulnerable and to receive love. And exhale, I send that back without any expectations and let go. Inhale, breathing in, I allow myself to receive. Letting go of self-judgment and judgment of others. And exhale, I send energy back and I let go of expectations. And last breath together, just like this. Inhale. Inhaling, I open my heart and I allow myself to receive love without judgment of myself or others. And I exhale. I send that energy back and I let go of expectations. Good, so now let your breathing come back to normal. Just kind of take a few deep breaths after that group exercise of the KISS meditation. So I know for me, I felt my heart really expand and open. I mean, even physically right now, I feel so much more expanded and open and a little bit, I'm buzzing a little bit with all this energy that we shared in this group exercise all around the world. And I just want you to know that even if you're doing this program alone, you can benefit so much by starting to just do this visualization. And you can, imagine anyone sitting across from you from your past, or someone you can imagine, or you can always visualize me sitting there and giving and receiving energy from you in this KISS meditation and practicing these intimacy and healing together. And I want you to know that I'm always here for you, and that when things come up for you, don't give up and don't shut down. That's a normal part of this process. If your old pains and fears come up, that's why you shut down in the past, and that's why we're now going to actually break through and have so much more empowerment and love and intimacy together.